So for this assignment, we're going to discuss one of the three play styles, and you don't have to like it. The idea is that you're researching a little bit to kind of get your head around why people make games like this. Because the truth is, if you get into making games and or even working in a company that makes games, you're going to be stuck with what the market wants or what the game designer or game lead likes, and so you'll have to kind of work within that. And don't limit yourself. Top down doesn't necessarily mean 1941 or a scrolling arcade shooter like that. It could also mean something like Zelda or Final Fantasy, some of the older Final Fantasies like for the DS and whatnot. Even though they're kind of an isometric view, they're technically a top-down look. So we're not talking about platformers where you have gravity and you're jumping. And speaking of platformers, a side-scrolling platformer is something where you have gravity. The character will jump, land on something, usually picks up power-ups. So you can also climb ladders or drop down holes. I mean, there are literally hundreds of examples to choose from. And platformers have kind of had a resurgence lately because they're so easy to make. So you get a lot more interesting interactions and kind of world building. So think of games like Limbo, and not just think of stuff like Donkey Kong. There's a lot out there that fit the side-scrolling platformer genre. And lastly, the first person. I'm reluctant to say first person shooter because there are a lot of first person games out there like Firewatch that have no shooting at all, that you walk around. So Tacoma is another one. They're considered walking sims. So do your analysis, pick at least two titles and play through them. And I recommend playing something you haven't played before, even if you're familiar with it or you've heard of it. Try something you haven't played before. There's lots of games on Steam, lots of games on whatever mobile phone you've got. And if you have a console like an Xbox or PS4, PS3, what have you, look in the game store because a lot of times there's demos that you can play through the first level. Things like Diablo or Strider, I think it's called. There are a few games out there where you can play the first level and see what it's like. So submit your analysis to the discussion board under 1.1. I'd like to see about 250 words per game and do at least two games. That's about a page double spaced. It's not a ton of it's not a ton of words. It's pretty easy. I just don't want you to say like this was cool or this was lame. I'd like to see you actually expand out your thinking on the game and how you reacted to it, even if you didn't like it. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.